Federal government reiterates commitment to development of Niger Delta.
We must regulate the flood that is coming into the reservoir.
Authorities in Sokoto announce controlled release from Goronyo Dam to tame rising water level.
We have decided to hand them over to the police. Whatever is the outcome of the matter in court, they still have us to contend with.
Also tonight, police prosecute 8 state vigilante operatives for assaulting corps member in Anambra State. Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Network News. We're live in Abuja. I am Jumma Yusuf. Tonight, Adela Kami Akere will be joining me from Lagos with news from that axis. And Benny Adams is standing by with business news. Benny, what's happening in the world of business? What's new?
Well, it's another day of losses for investors in Nigeria's capital market, but another day for gains in Nigeria's mineral sector from Nigeria to Zambia. We'll give you details in the course of the bulletin.
That's good news. And as usual, Francisca Bella is in our sports corner with some of the latest highlights in the world of sports. Francisca, it's so sad that the Tigers are out of the FIBA 2025.
Of course, it's sad, but then at least they made it to the quarterfinals, so congratulations to them.
Yeah, congratulations. We wish them more luck. And remember, you can watch this news live and on the go on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Now, tonight, our online survey focuses on a fundamental question of governance and national priority. In our attempt to gauge the true value of public service, we are asking you about the proposed review of salaries for political office holders in Nigeria. I suspect that while some may think that competitive remuneration is vital to attract qualified professionals and reduce the temptation of corruption, others might outrightly oppose the idea or have certain conditions. Now let us know what you think. Scan the QR code soon to be displayed on your screen. Click on the link and tick an option that suits you. You can join the ongoing conversation. Now let's get the news. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, has also reiterated the President's commitment to enhancing the welfare of the people of the Niger Delta region. While addressing the region's challenges, he was speaking when a delegation from the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Youth Leaders Forum, led by its chairman and president of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, Sir Jonathan Lopobri, paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. The SGF highlighted some of the president's efforts in tackling regional challenges, including the establishment of the University of Environmental Technology in Ogoniland to address ecological issues. He also acknowledged past initiatives such as the Ministry of Niger Delta Development Commission, and the Amnesty Program. Now, he commended the forum for their solidarity in mobilizing grassroots support for President Tinubu's re-election, emphasizing the importance of zoning and power rotation in promoting national unity, stability, and a sense of belonging. On his part, Sir Jonathan Lopobri appreciated President Tinubu for his timely intervention in resolving the crisis in Rivers State and bringing peace and stability. He also expressed gratitude to the federal government for empowering youth from the Niger Delta through the Amnesty Program. And as part of efforts to build effective roadmap to the funding and delivery of ongoing projects inherited from previous administrations, Minister of Works Dave Umahi has threatened to terminate 2 severely delayed road projects in Kogi State due to abysmal contractor performance, despite being awarded in 2022. CCECC Nigeria Limited achieved only 1.97% completion on the Okene Itobi Road after receiving 2.5 billion naira, while Tech Engineering Company Nigeria Limited completed just 1.04% of the Lokoja Ayimba Road after a 1 billion naira advance payment. Consequently, both contractors have been given strict ultimatums to immediately demonstrate significant progress. Failure to do so will result in the mutual termination of their contracts, allowing the ministry to re-procure the remaining sectors for more effective funding and execution. This decisive action is believed to underscore the administration's commitment to quality and value for money in infrastructure development. Now, more Nigerians are applauding the present administration led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with the latest round of commendation coming from Oka, Southeast Anambra State. This came to the fore during a public sensitization campaign of the Tinubu midterm reports. Daniel Upai tells us more.
With more than 900,000 beneficiaries of the Presidential Loan and Grant Scheme, more than 300,000 beneficiaries of Student Loan Scheme, 118.8 kilometer Calabar Eboyi, Benue, Nasarawa, Abuja Coastal Highway flagged off, agriculture, healthcare, assessing the President midterm report in a town hall meeting organized in Oka. Participants applaud the President's economic policies that are aimed at enhancing the living condition of the people.
In his 2 years in office, he has done really well. We have seen different developments.
This sensitization campaign is one of the series of events scheduled to keep the citizens abreast of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's effort aimed at changing the lots of Nigerians.
And now to environmental matters and adverse climate change impact. The Sokoto River Basin Development Authority has announced the release of water from the Goyo Dam as part of precautionary measures aimed at regulating the rise in water level and preventing potential flooding. Delhato Abdullahi has more.
Level of the Goronyo Dam in Sokoto State, which by August is not expected to rise above 288 million cubic meters, has already reached 285.47 million cubic meters. With the reservoir aging close to its critical threshold, authorities initiated a controlled release of the water to protect the dam's integrity and avoid possible flooding. Sokoto River Basin Development Authorities explained that the release was a precautionary measure aimed at averting disaster that could affect thousands of lives and farmlands along the downstream. In the wake of this development, residents and communities living along the river banks are strongly advised to remain vigilant, relocate from flood-prone areas, and strictly adhere to safety directives issued by emergency agencies. The authority assured that the water released is being carefully managed, but warned that disregard for safety advisories could expose vulnerable households to avoidable risks.
We must regulate the flood that is coming into the reservoir. Therefore, we are calling the downstream users always, those are the farmers, fishermen, canoe riders, and everybody, that they should align their work based on our action plan always, in order to save the life of people.
Insecurity is the major challenges facing us in this dam, because without security, you can't stay here in order to control this dam. The dam needs each and every minute. You want the person to be here.
This controlled action underscores the delicate balance between sustaining water for agriculture and domestic use while ensuring public safety from the threats of overflow. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
In the meantime, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency have confirmed that devastating floods continue to cause widespread damage across the country. A dashboard released by NEMA indicates that 19 states have been affected thus far. Musa Babaliu is on standby to provide a detailed breakdown of the statistics. Musa?
The dashboard indicates that as of Thursday, August 21, 2025, 209,666 people have been affected by floods this year. 228 people have died. 114 people are missing. 495 people are injured. 71,700 people have been displaced. The floods have also destroyed or damaged 21,257 homes and 23,281 farmlands across 43 local government areas. The breakdown shows that women and children were the most affected, with 97,244 children, 64,327 women, 49,050 men, 8,064 elderly individuals, and 2,069 persons with disabilities impacted. The affected states include Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bayelsa, Borno, Edo, Gombe, Imo, and Jigawa. Others are Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, Kwara, Ondo, Rivers, Sokoto, and Yobe, and the Federal Capital Territory. Relevant agencies are urging state and local government authorities to sensitize and encourage people living along the riverbanks to evacuate.
Thank you, Musa Babaliu, for that detailed report on flood in Nigeria. And on water resources utilization, the rehabilitation of Bida Mana waterworks and intervention of the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission is said to have reached 90% completion, with the Commission's resolve to see to the realization of the water scheme for potable water supply to Bida and its environs. Now, this comes even as the Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Commission, Abubakar Sadiq Yelwa, resumes work following his reappointment to a second term in office. Mercy Fabi reports.
The inspection, which was the first official assignment of the Managing Director since his reappointment by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was to inspect the level of work done at the Mana Waterworks. The intervention of NIPADEC is a deliberate action aimed at reactivating and energizing the more than 40 years waterworks, which has been moribund for about 15 years now. So far, 5 MVA power transformer and 29 other items have been supplied and installed to upgrade the waterworks for effective utilization to about 600,000 people in Bida and its adjoining communities. The inspection was also to provide possible solution to the impending challenge of certifying the fallowed 2 other 2.5 power transformers and reticulation.
A significant progress has been made. Our major interest is to see that Bida town is relieved from its present predicament of lack of pipe-borne water.
The entourage was also at the Bida Wadata Palace to brief the Etinupe Yaya Bakar on the progress made to end the about 15 years perennial water shortage in Bida.
We hope and pray that the HAPADEC and the state government will collaborate very closely to ensure that this issue is a thing of past time.
Merci. Fabi, NT News.
The Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, says that upkeep loan disbursement is now strictly tied to the academic session of each institution. A statement by the Director of Strategic Communications, Osheyemi Oluwatoyi, states that in line with the directive, students shall only be entitled to upkeep loans for their current academic session, and upon the conclusion of an institution's academic year, upkeep payments for that session shall automatically cease. She stated further that interested loan applicants are required to apply for the loan at the beginning of each academic session to be eligible for both institutional charges and upkeep for that particular session. To ensure accuracy and transparency, the NEL Fund loan portal is now being automated to reflect the adjustments. And in a bold and unprecedented move, the Nigerian Postal Service has launched the Agro-Infrastructure and Logistics Initiative, turning disused post offices into smart agro-hubs and cold storage facilities across Nigeria. Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, who inaugurated the initiative, described it as a major leap to reduce post-harvest losses. Olajide Bello reports.
Once known for sorting mails and postage stamps, Nigeria's Postal Service, NIPOST, is now delivering something far more valuable, a lifeline for the nation's farmers. Simply put, from letters to logistics, delivering a new future, NIPOST is leveraging technology and critical infrastructure located across the country, real-time tracking, route optimization, and solar energy, as well as ensuring crops move faster from the farm to the market.
They reported a steady decline in traditional mail and parcel volumes, but at the same time, they face growing requests from local farmers and cooperatives to move farm produce such as yam, tomatoes, and vegetables. This is clear evidence that the demand for logistics is shifting from letters and documents, also shifting, is expanding from letters, documents, and parcels to food and commodities.
Little do some of us know that aside the tech-savvy Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, he is a major farmer who has keyed into President Bola Tinubu's agricultural drive. For a farmer expecting 600 tons turnover of maize cultivated twice in 1 year, the minister can breathe a sigh of relief in terms of enhanced storage facilities to reduce post-harvest losses, and that is where NIPOST comes in.
So I managed to find a dryer, which started work, overnight broke down, and I have tons of maize that I've harvested, and I'm looking at them. You know, what's going to happen to them? If we don't dry them in the next 24 to 48 hours, they'll start to go bad. The story I've just shared with you is not something from 12 months ago. This was what happened overnight. So I woke up 5 a.m. That's what I was dealing with on the phone. Because there's camera in my farm, so I was looking at my maize like this and saying, how will I dry this maize? That's where what the Postmaster General is trying to do today is important.
From letters to logistics, the Nigeria Postal Service is rewriting its story, and perhaps Nigeria's Olajide Bello. NTA News.
We'll take a break now. The news continues in a moment. Don't go away. You're welcome back. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented certificates of return to National Assembly members-elect who emerged at the August 16th by-elections. Mayor Ogidi tells us more.
Like footballers entering the pitch, replacing others during halftime. Look energetic, with a mien determined to make a difference. 2 senators elect and 5 House of Representative members elect, they got the blessings of the electorate at the August 16th by-elections. Victory sealed by INEC. Out of the 2 senatorial seats, ABGA won, APC won. 4 out of the 5 House of Rep seats, APC won 4. Though a lone bright spot for the PDP came from Ibadan North in Oyo State. Joseph Ipia, Edo Central Senatorial District, says they are set for serious business, and time is not an excuse.
For me, it's not a huge challenge because I'm quite sure, and the way I attend to my people, the way I attend to them right now, these few years I'm here, I'm going to be there, we also determine what they feel about me.
Now attention totally shifted to Anambra State for the November 8th governorship election. Mayor Ogede, NT News.
Talking security, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetakun, has inspected the state-of-the-art intelligence installations at Idu community in Abuja, in continuation of efforts to strengthen intelligence-led policing as a cornerstone of internal security. A statement by the force states that the visit is part of a strategic engagement with indigenous security experts, particularly EIB Stratok, a homegrown security solutions provider aimed at boosting collaboration for a more effective national security architecture. The IGP emphasizes that intelligence gathering remains the bedrock of modern policing and stresses the commitment of the Nigeria Police Force under his leadership to harnessing technology, innovation, and both local and foreign expertise to counter emerging threats and enhance public trust. In the meantime, the Anambra State Police Commissioner Ikere Orotugu has confirmed that the 8 Agune Chamber security operatives who assaulted a corps member in Oba, Anambra State will be charged to court for further sanctions in accordance with the law. Chinyere Fitesi Okoye reports.
Are the 8 culprits who dealt decisively with a corps member in Anambra State on the 23rd of July, now facing disciplinary measures as they have been handed over to the police.
We suspended them pending our own internal process. And now, as we have decided to hand them over to the police, whatever is the outcome of the matter in court, they still have us to contend with.
And these are people we try to give some level of orientation. Look at what they did to that lady. It's unfortunate. We condemn it. I'm very sure the state government has condemned it. However, the law must take its course.
As the masses fume over the inhuman treatment, the Commissioner of Police promises not to leave any stone unturned in handling the matter.
No matter whatever happens, one should not take certain law into one's hands to some degree.
I think it's very essential the government look into this situation, whereby they train properly the vigilante and the security members so that they will be able to function properly in the state.
Meanwhile, wife of Anambra State Governor Dr. Nanye Soludo is expected to have a meeting with the core member on her return to Anambra State, while the acting director, Information and Public Relations of NYSC, in a statement states that necessary administrative procedures are on the way to assist the core member, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, in a bid to make Nigeria an information technology-enabled nation that will foster economic and technological innovations, plans to host the Digital Nigeria International Conference with the inauguration of its local organizing committee in Abuja. Let's take a listen to Francis Udojo's report.
2025 Digital International Conference with the theme, Innovation for a Sustainable Digital Future, Accelerating Growth, Inclusion and Global Competitiveness, is a flagship conference planned to create opportunities and engagement for participants across the entire digital ecosystem. The local organizing partners, which include NTA, is to help plan strategies that will position Nigeria towards maximizing benefits associated with effective governance, digital economy, as well as cyber security.
This year's conference will be looking at how we can position ourselves effectively to tap from the offerings of digital, of the digital economy and the digital technologies that are available out there.
We have the vision, for instance, to ensure that we make Nigeria an IT-enabled nation, fostering inclusive economic development through technological innovation. And it's that vision that we are pursuing, trying to see how we can pursue that vision in line with the 8-point agenda of renewed hope.
The conference is also expected to promote small and medium-scale enterprises in the digital space. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
We'll take a pause here as I join Adiola Kamiakere in our Lagos studio for more on Network News. Hello, Adiola. It's good to see you.
Bye. Despite the 15% tariff imposed on Nigeria's non-oil export by the United States government, the federal government and exporters are already thinking outside the box to leverage the tariff hike by navigating other areas of comparative advantage to sustain the growth trajectory in non-oil exports. Joel Popola reports that stakeholders are having extensive consultations on how to scale up in areas not affected by the hike.
The new tariff on exports to the United States of America is taking its toll on global trade and world economies. And with the United States being a major destination of Nigerian exports, the need for a thorough evaluation of the impact and engagement with relevant stakeholders to avoid any impending economic backlash is imperative. And this roundtable by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council is a major proactive step to sustain the impressive performance of non-oil exports, leveraging on agricultural produce not affected by the tariff.
We can also build the capacity of our exporters in various areas, in cashew, in cocoa, in other non-oil export, and we also create market linkages and market access to them.
These public enlightenment experts say will place Nigeria at a vantage position, even as engagement with the American government, which the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, represented and other industry players agreed should also be considered.
We avoided retaliatory measures. We opted instead for a calibrated response that protects long-term investor confidence, sustains mutual trade interests, and preserves regional stability.
Some of the products and our competitors worldwide in certain product that goes to the US, you can see we have one of the lowest tariffs. So that presents opportunity for us to grow some of the exports. By geography, by the tariff schemes, we're able to overcome some of those challenges.
Key areas identified to gain competitive edge are cocoa and cashew nuts, as well as value addition on the exported products, which stakeholders agreed will create employment opportunities and boost the capacity of local industries. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Lagos Center, has provided a platform for citizens to learn and engage with government policies in various sectors. This is to foster informed decision-making and community development. Adejoke Odeka tells us more.
It's been over 2 years since President Bola Tinubu took the oath of office with the promise of a renewed hope for Nigerians. Despite efforts to alleviate poverty and promote prosperity, particularly through health, agriculture, and education, there is a disconnect at the grassroots level which hinders their potential impact. This town hall meeting and sensitization campaign is the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Lagos Center's way of educating the populace at the grassroots.
We want every household member, whatever you know you want to eat, grow it at the back of your compound. They should take all those websites we have given them concerning this to key into the program.
The NEL Fund, like I said, is a loan initiative. It's basically towards the school fees of children, of the youth that are in government-owned institutions.
Each and every parent to encourage their children to tap into the educational sector. The health sector must also be keen by everybody.
The Lagos Center also visited Ije Market in Obalende, Ikoyi, to enlighten traders on the federal government's hardship alleviation initiatives.
My child is lucky to be a beneficiary and now schools at the University of Ibadan in 200 level.
We are hearing it, but I've not seen it. But today, I thank God for today. That's what I said. They should still come back and find out if we benefited from it.
With the theme, Tinubu Administration's Midterm Report by Mohammed Idris, the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation says the campaign is pivotal in gathering valuable feedbacks and driving continuous improvement. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. The network news will continue with Benny Adams in Abuja on the business segment when we return from this break.
Glad to have you here at this time, and it's that time we talk business. We start by telling you that funding the mining industry and to increase Nigeria's relevance in the global market are the key areas of focus at the 10th edition of the Nigerian Mining Week, held in October this year. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Farouk Yusuf Yabo, stated this at a press briefing in Abuja. He emphasized that the premium gathering will review the decade's journey and the prospects ahead.
The decade ahead is not just going to be a mineral potential and opportunity decade, but it is about decisive actions, and it is about achieving global relevance. Nigeria therefore welcomes those who will join us in this great journey. On behalf of the Honorable Minister, Dr. Henry Dele Alaki, I declare the Nigerian Mining Week 2025 officially launched.
The theme of the 10th edition is Nigerian mining from progress to global relevance. Now, Zambia is also taking mining to the next level. This is as the President Hakainde Hichilema commissions the expansion of S3 mining project at Kashanshi Mine in Soweto, one of the largest investments in the history of the country, worth more than $1.2 billion. He says the investment is proof that the economy is headed on the right path and wants that no more illegal mining.
We want you to mine, but legally. Number two, we will provide training for our small-scale, artisanal small-scale miners in safe mining.
This project will extend the life of Kansanshi for another 2 decades, securing thousands of jobs and creating new ones, boosting local procurement and generating significant revenues for national development, and for infrastructure in Soweto, in our town, and beyond.
Now, looking at the Nigerian stock market, investors lost 780.64 billion naira, with market capitalization down to 88.78 trillion naira. This is as the market sustained its bearish trend on Thursday, driven by sell-offs in Boa Cement, Julius Berger, and MTN Nigeria, among 40 other stocks. At the end of trading, a total of 573.6 million shares in 25,855 deals, corresponding to a market value of 12.863 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows 21% decline in volume and 10% decline in deals. And on the aggregate, 129 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 17 gainers and 45 losers. That is it on business at this time. Jumai, you can take it from here.
Back to the news. The International Organization for Migration has reiterated its commitment to supporting Nigeria in finalizing a national financing strategy for sustainable solutions for persons of concern. Now, this assurance was made during a visit by the IOM Deputy Director General of Operations to the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons in Abuja. Ruth Agwele reports.
Migration dialogue continues to be a source of concern for nations, and this Nigeria takes seriously by working towards having a comprehensive national migration policy, which is top priority for the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. This solidarity visit by a delegation of the International Organization for Migration is to reaffirm its support for the national strategy on migration, enhance effective data management for migrants and displaced persons, to advance durable solutions and ensure migration is safe, regular and dignified.
And we will support the operationalization of the two sub-working groups, one for data and solutions and one for security and protection, while emphasizing the importance of harmonizing the data. We commend NCFRMI for initiating the revision of the policy.
The Commission is trying to see that we provide a solution against handouts given out to our vulnerable ones. Now we are building skill acquisition centers to support that, to go through the 6 clinical zones that we have in this country.
For both parties, they hope to strengthen partnership to operationalize the return, reintegration and reconciliation of migrants across the country, while upscaling efforts for legal pathways that will promote regular migration. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
The Jigawa State Governor Malam Umar Namadi has been honored by the Saudi Hajj Authority with special awards for the commendable conduct of the 2025 Hajj exercise by the state. The awards were presented during the formal submission of the comprehensive report on this year's Hajj operations. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
At the Government House in Dutse, Governor Umar Namadi received multiple awards conferred on him by the Saudi Hajj Authority, recognizing Jigawa's outstanding performance in the 2025 Hajj exercise. The presentation was made alongside the official report on the state's Hajj operations by the Amir al-Hajj and Emir of Kazore al-Haji Najib Hussein Adamu. Governor Namadi, while thanking the Amir al-Hajj, the Pilgrims Welfare Board and the entire operations team, commended their commitments and efficiency, which is said earned Jigawa a place of pride among participating states.
The Federation, you cannot match the experience, dedication, and devotion of the members of staff of Jigawa State Pilgrims Board.
As enshrined in the law establishing the board, ours is to make sure that pilgrims going through the board were able to perform Hajj with relative ease and comfort.
The pilgrims are very happy and are very appreciative of what happens in the Holy Land. I think this is one of the first time that the delegation is returning the money amounting to 25 million in excess of what they have account.
The governor assured that his administration will implement key recommendations contained in the report and further announced plans to establish a modern and befitting Hajj camp for Jigawa pilgrims. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
There will be more news after the break. Welcome back. The 92-years-old Cameroonian President Paul Biya is poised to seek a term in office as president in the upcoming October election. And World Food Programme convoy in Sudan has been attacked and 3 trucks destroyed. Kolo Mohammed brings us details of these and other stories on Global Update.
President of Cameroon, Paul Biya, aged 92, is poised to seek an 8th term in office in the October elections. Now faces a significant legal battle. Akere Tabeng Muna, a prominent opposition candidate and former BAP president, has filed a formal petition with the Constitutional Council alleging that Paul Biya is constitutionally ineligible to run under Article 118 of the Electoral Code. The ruling is expected this Friday. The World Food Programme said 3 out of the convoy's 16 trucks were damaged and caught fire, but all staff were saved. The organization is assessing the full impact and gathering more information. Both the Army and the RSF have been accused of obstructing aid deliveries and using starvation as a weapon of war. In other news, Russia has launched hundreds of drones and missiles on western Ukraine overnight in one of the heaviest bombardments in recent weeks. Ukraine officials said strikes were reported in Zaporizhia and Lviv, where 1 person was killed and dozens wounded. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
And Francisca Bella is standing by with happenings in the world of sports. Francisca.
Thank you, Jumai. Welcome to Sports Update. In a landmark development for badminton in Nigeria, a clear pathway to the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles has been provided for Nigeria's shining light in the sport, Mariam Eniola Bolaji, with a 4-year sponsorship deal being handed to the Paralympic bronze medalist by logistics giant GIG. The sponsorship will cover her training, international travels and accommodation, as well as camp allowance as she bids to claim the #1 sport in the world, while also aspiring to become the first African badminton player to win gold at the Olympics for Paralympics 2028. At a strategic engagement in Abuja, the Nigerian badminton family and other stakeholders in the Nigerian sports fraternity, including the chairman National Sports Commission Shehu Diko, hailed the development, describing it as a potential game changer for sports in the country.
After what we achieved last year in Paris, we saw the need to do this and start it much earlier. And thank God, like I said, GIG Logistics came out the first to say, we believe in your vision, we believe in your mission, and we want to be part of this journey.
Empowering opportunities and delivering excellence. This is what we see in Eniola. This partnership is also a reflection of our broader commitment to inclusion.
Elsewhere, reactions have continued to trail the elimination of Nigeria's D Tigers from the 2025 Men's Afro Basket Championship after a 91-75 quarter-final loss to Senegal on Wednesday. In Abuja, basketball enthusiasts commended the team's resilience, noting that while the exit was disappointing, the experience gained would help the squad regroup and return stronger in future tournaments.
I think they have a good tournament. Getting to the quarterfinals is not easy.
They need to improve more. They need to do more practice.
They are not really bad. If they are that bad, then we would have gotten that far. Knocking out at the early stage should be worse than approaching to the line. They tried.
Turning to football, Nigeria's representatives in the 2025 CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers, Bayelsa Queens FC, also known as the Prosperity Girls, held their first training session in Abidjan Thursday as they prepare for the opening game of the qualifiers. The squad were put through their paces by the coaching crew led by White Obunda at University Phyllis Hofe Bonye. Drawn in Group B, Bayelsa Queens will open their campaign against Police Ladies of Ghana on August 24. Before facing ASCO of Togo and Samneli of Benin Republic. But that's the size of a package. It's back to Jumai.
Thank you. We wish them all the best. APC National Chairman Professor Nantewe Yudwalda says he's celebrating the life of his late mother rather than mourning to honor her sacrifices and support to the extended family. This was while receiving sympathizers in jails over the demise of his mother. Ijoma Ozemene has more.
Since the demise of Professor Nantewe's mother, Lydia Yewada, sympathizers from across the country have continued to troop to his residence for condolence. They include head of boards and parastatals, and leadership of various organizations, politicians and religious leaders. Receiving the president of Kokin, Reverend Amos Mozo, Professor Nantewe says he is a product of prayer and grace, noting that the love shown the family at the moment of grief has strengthened them. In his condolence message, Governor Caleb Mutfwang described late Mama Lydia Yewada as a virtuous woman with deep faith and prayed God to repose her soul in Jos. Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
And a quick check on the weather prospect is next.
A warm welcome. We are tracking thunderstorms expected to develop over northern parts of the country, starting in the morning, continuing into the afternoon through to evening hours. These storms could bring strong winds, thunder and lightning. So if you're in these areas, please stay alert. Moving into the north-central region, light to moderate rainfall is expected as the day progresses. Don't be surprised if it lingers into the afternoon hours. And for those in the south, including the coasts and the inland areas of the south, we expect intermittent rain showers. Conditions will stay mostly cloudy with only occasional breaks in the clouds. And that's it from this end. Join us again.
And that's the weather forecast. Let's go straight to the polls on our survey. Our poll result is in, and based on the responses from the survey, a majority of Nigerians are opposed to the idea of a salary review for public office holders, with 58% of respondents saying so. Our survey says this opposition is primarily driven by the current economic challenges facing the country. Another 32.8% portion of respondents expressed conditional support for the idea, but tied it to very variable performance of these political office holders. Outright support for the raise is a distinct minority amongst our respondents, with only 9.8% ticking that option. And that's Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jumma Yasov.